Hello everyone. What I will tell you today will change your whole worldview and the way of thinking. I know you've heard a lot of stories, but my story is unique, and soon you will understand why. My name is Rebecca. I was born and raised in Italy, but now I live in another country, and the name of that country I want to keep a secret. I'm a doctor by profession. Most importantly, I was born in 2006. Of course, you may have questions because it's obvious that I'm not 16 years old. I will explain now. I did not manage to work as a doctor because immediately after graduating from the medical university, I received a job offer from an organization that was engaged in various experiments related to physical and psychological tests on humans. The company is called LabGeo, which was founded in 2024 in Canada. Yes, you heard me correct, in 2024. Do you want to understand how I worked there if it is still 2022? The answer is very simple. I came to 2022 from the future, and more specifically from 2028, and soon you will get some very real evidences of that fact. Well, let me continue my story. As I said, immediately after graduating from the university, I received an invitation from that company to start working there. The reason for the invitation was very clear. Since I was a sophomore, I have been writing papers on human organ transplants, artificial kidneys, lung development, its functionality. I have visited Canada twice to attend summits on the subject. By the way, the organizers of those summits created LabGeo later. Before continuing my story, I will show you something exclusive. This is a newspaper published in 2027. Let me say that in the future newspapers are published stably. They are more popular than now because the newspaper has some retro pleasure in it. If you look at this newspaper, you will understand that it is made in a very old style from the 60s and 70s. Starting in 2026, this retro style became very popular, just as in the early 2010s retro music videos became popular. Now I will read some news from 2027 for you. As you can see, this newspaper was published on February 26, 2027. For example, let me read the first news, which is connected with my work. Revolution in the medical field. LabGeo has created artificial lungs. The tests are completed. The lungs function in the human body perfectly. This will change the attitude of the whole world towards respiratory diseases. The management of the company assures that this technology will be very affordable and available to everyone. It can be said that mortality from respiratory viruses is already a thing of the past. LabGeo has already announced that it is starting to work on creating artificial kidneys and assures that we will have the first samples very soon. Take a look at the second news. The planet Mars is already habitable. SpaceRock's Mars colonization project is running successful. Colonizers are building greenhouses. They already have built tomato and green-producing greenhouses. Work is underway to build larger greenhouses. Technology is completely different from the greenhouse construction technology we have on planet Earth. The director of SpaceRock, Frank Fox, assures that in 2040, Mars will be fully prepared for tourism and its incomes will help to develop Mars more. In just 400 to 600 years, Mars can become the number 2 planet Earth. Fox promises to start selling pieces of land on Mars from 2040. Let me show you one more news. India promises immortality. In India, work is underway to digitize people's intellect. The program has received full support of the state and according to the government of India, it will be completed in 2030. The program will enable to digitize the human intellect and so to say to make a human being an immortal. According to our information, there is already one case of digitalization. The program has fully justified itself. There are other news in the newspaper, but these were the main news that you might be interested in. The rest is just daily or sports news. Now let me answer the question that many people may have. What I am doing in 2022. If I say that I have come from the future, what is the reason for my being here? How did I get here? As I said, the company I worked for was developing medical technology and conducting experiments. Now let me tell you a little bit about what I was doing there. As a former medical student, I was responsible for taking care for the health of the people during the tests so that there would be no bad consequences for them during and after the tests. My work has always been very difficult and carried a huge responsibility, and I was very well paid for my work. So after collecting some finances, I decided that I could create my own company. At the end of 2027, I left LabGeo and started my own medical company called VeriHub. We started making different medical devices, and in just half a year my company became a competitor to LabGeo. I admit that I made a very vicious move, because I stole a lot of ideas from LabGeo because I was a high-ranking employee there and I had a lot of confidential information. Do you remember when I showed you in the newspaper that LabGeo was going to create artificial kidneys? Yes, you maybe guessed that it was me who created those kidneys before LabGeo because I had the scientific papers, I copied all those developments and I stole it. So the invention of the artificial kidney brought me a lot of money, but thanks to LabGeo's lawyers, it was proof that I had stolen their property. I was sued in the court. My work was terminated at the company until the investigation was over. I knew that I will be found guilty and will spend most of my life in prison. I decided to make drastic steps. I sold all my property, took my money, my scientific works, some proof of the fact that I was from the future, and turned to one of my scientist friends whose company was working to create a time machine. I asked them to test the prototype of the device on me, although it was very dangerous and no one knew if I would survive or not. So I volunteered to be the first to test the equipment. And here I am, and now I will try my best to create a company within a year that will do everything that LabGeo has done. I am now looking for a real funding, and I think by the end of the year you will hear about me and you will see the real results of my work.